My Fortnite Creative Mini BR released over 2 years ago now, and today I'm going to be giving a tour of the latest season. If you happen to enjoy this video, consider leaving a like and subscribe. Let's get straight into the video. So this is our first POI. This is Lake Fungi. This POI was introduced in Chapter 2, Season 1, and it's the central lake POI, you know? Got the lighthouse, got the capture point right here in the middle, you know, exotic vending machine right here, and we also have a dumpster right behind here. You know, pretty cool. You get some exclusive loot out of those. You know, it's pretty solid. Neat little first POI. But right here we have our first landmark. This is the Sniper Outpost. It was added during the latter half of Chapter 2 Season 1. And it was to celebrate a Wild Week that featured more common snipers around the map. So yeah, nothing really too interesting, but you know, it's a cool, nice little addition in my opinion. Alright, so our next POI is Neon Cat Gas. And as you can tell, since the last time we've been here, the POI has changed quite a lot. So the last time I toured here, it was just these three buildings and this building. This building was added during Chapter 2 Season 2, while the rest were added during Chapter 1 Season 2. And yeah, it was only that until midway through Chapter 2 Season 3, where this supermarket was added, and these two restaurants, the Dirt Burger and the Pizza Pit restaurant, were added. So yeah, I just felt like this POI needed a little bit more to spice it up, you know, add some more life to the POI, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. That's what I did. So we are now entering our first new POI of Chapter 2 Season 4. This is Sunk Scrapers. Now this is a pretty big POI, and it is a altered version of a POI that was here last season known as Slurp Scrapers. The main difference is that all these city buildings and skyscrapers that were here previously have now been stripped down to just their foundations, as the new desert biome, which we'll get to in a little bit, kind of came in around this area and kind of just like tore the place apart. So yeah, most of the buildings here have now been just torn to shreds basically, and they're kind of just ruins of what they used to be. We continue going over here. We see a nice little sand dune where this little like picnic area used to be with all the trucks in it and stuff, and we got more foreign buildings. The Slurp factory luckily has not taken the hit, but you know, who knows, maybe next season that will change. Ooh, who knows. The Art Deco building, which is home to an exclusive weapon or item each season. This season has received the Shockwave launcher, so if you just go here, got a gold Shockwave launcher. So yeah, it's a pretty neat addition. And yeah, we just keep going around. We see all like the wrecked buildings. You know, they're all kind of destroyed. They're all kind of in ruins, you know. And yeah, I definitely think it fits the vibe, concerning Season 4 is a post-apocalyptic kind of theme. Alright, our next named POI is Monstrous Monarchy. This was a Halloween POI added during Chapter 2 Season 2. And yeah, it's just like an old, like, medieval castle kind of area. You know what I'm saying? You know, you go around, there's a bunch of chests around the area. You know, you keep finding more chests. There's like this cool little like square chest over here. A bunch of stuff in it. And yeah, it's an overall good place to loot. It is high up on the ground too, so you know, got a nice little advantage. The next building we have over here is like the little morgue area. Got some coffins in here, you know, two chests as well, as you could see. You know, pretty neat, pretty neat. This POI also features a cemetery, you know, kind of fitting of the Halloween kind of vibe. You know, got a bunch of graves around the area, you know. And you also got a nice little chest, you know. Nice little area to loot up. And then, finally, we have the church building. You go in here, you know, it's what a church building looks like, you know. Got some loot. These candy buckets can be searched for some ammo. They used to drop candy, but candy has been vaulted since the Halloween event ended, so yeah. Alright, we are now entering our first of the two new collab POIs added during the season. This is Cubic Complex from the creative map known as Western Wallop, made by a friend of mine known as String Sauce. You should definitely go check it out. But this was a POI added during Season 4 of that map, and you know, it's kind of an overall cool vibe. I like it. It's really unique, and they got a nice little tower in here. You know, you can go up here, you know. There's a nice little open vault in here. There's only two chests in here, but you know, it's cool nonetheless. Yeah, you know, it's kind of in ruins. You know, it's a neat little POI. I like it. I think it's really cool. And yeah, so our next landmark is a sort of a new landmark. This is Cliffside Condo. This was originally part of the Lavish Landing POI, but Cubic Complex has replaced Lavish Landing. And now this building and another building we'll get to have become landmarks because, you know, the main part of the POI has been removed. So no reason for them to be named POIs, you know? And now if we go over here, we can see the other Lavish Landing landmark. we go over here and we have the Zen Tower. So it's neat because it has a vending machine over here with a Nighthawk in it. And, you know, it's a tall, kind of like Chinese Lunar New Year kind of tower inspired by Lucky Landing, obviously. And yeah, you got this cool little walk up with all the bamboo around it. And I like it. I like how it kind of looks. But yeah, I just wouldn't be so sure if these two landmarks would be sticking around too much longer. Keep your eye on that. Alright, our next named POI is Slappy Sight. This is probably, outside of Slunk Scrapers, this is probably the biggest named POI on the map. It's a heavily Slap Juice inspired POI, as you could tell. It's also fairly unique as all the doors have to be broken into. You know, you can't open them. Broken into. I think that's fairly unique. Yeah, there's plenty of dumpsters around the area, as this was introduced this season that dumpsters were actually added. And yeah, it's an overall chill POI. I like the architecture on a lot of these buildings because it's fairly unique. Not many other people are going to be building an E-building, you know. And then we have the original Slap Juice building. This was originally known as the Slap Hut in Chapter 2 Season 1, before it became like a whole POI in Chapter 2 Season 2. So, yeah, this is a really cool named POI. I really like it. It's probably my favorite one that I've ever made for this map. And yeah, it's really cool. While I'm over here, I might as well cover the bridge. It's a remix of the road POI from Wotts Royale Chapter 1. And yeah, it's just a long path with some slurp trucks and some chests on it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Nice little homage to the original. But, you know, it's nothing too crazy. It's just a bridge, you know? While I'm over here, I might as well also introduce Ripsaw Rage. This is a new POI in Chapter 2 Season 4 that was added halfway through the season. And yeah, what you're looking at now is the original Ripsaw Hut building, featuring 2 Ripsaw launchers, of course, and a chest, you know, just, you know, make it viable to land here. And yeah, since then the POI has got an update. It's got this fencing all around it. It's got some slurp trucks and obviously plenty more buildings around the area. As you can see, they're all kind of fitting in the same aesthetic. You know, you got some chests around like these. These are chests, as you can see. And yeah, it's fairly solid POI. I like it. I'm glad I made it. And yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. So our next named POI is the Junkyard. This is another Chapter 2 Season 2 edition. And, you know, as you can see, it's a junkyard. The name says it all, you know? I really like this POI. It's probably up there with my favorites for this map. It kind of filled in an empty spot on the map when it was added. So yeah, there's really nothing much more to say other than it's a junkyard. It also got a nice little reference to the old Slurp City. And yeah, that's basically it. Alright, our next edition is a Chapter 1 Wotts Royale Classic. This is Wottsian Home Base. You know, it's an OG POI, Chapter 1 Season 5, kind of OG. But yeah, you know, you got the classic mat warehouse. You also got the explosive warehouse, which doesn't feature explosives anymore because it was a bit laggy. But, you know, you get the gist. 2 warehouses. You know, you got this nice little area to, like, roam around in. And you got, like, a center kind of drop-in area. This was originally a cave, but, you know, I felt like if I wanted to do another cave POI, I wanted to be more, like, extravagant, if you kind of know what I'm saying. And I just didn't have another good spot for the capture point, so I just turned this into the capture point, you know? But, yeah, maybe there'll be another cave POI in the future. Who knows? Who knows? Our next POI is Fountain Fortress, and this is a Chapter 2 Season 1 POI. So, as you can see, there's, like, this, like, prison area. You know, you come in here, you got all the prison cells. You know, it's kind of fitting in the vibe, you know? Got, like, the water on the sides. Then you get to this, like, little nice outpost kind of building. There's another one over there that's a landmark and a hydration outpost. Nothing too special, but just thought I'd mention it real quick. And then we have the main building, which is just a prefab, but it was early on in the development before I got, like, better at building. And, as you can see by all these, like, octopus around the area, some big changes are happening next season in this area, so, you know, I would look out for that. And then, over here, we have the kind of, like, shrine building, I guess you would call it. You know, it's like a nice little shrine to, like, this water orb kind of thing. And, yeah, you know, it's a nice little favorite building of mine, you know, overall. It's solid. You got some chests around the area, you know. Nothing too bad. Our next named POI is another returning POI. This is Sandy Stage. Originally from Chapter 1 Season 4, it returned this season. as it was kind of fitting of the kind of vibe I was going with, like a desert update. And, you know, the stage was re-added last season, which was from Chapter 1, Season 3. It was added during Chapter 2, Season 3. Re-added during Chapter 2, Season 3, I should say. And, you know, considering I was doing a desert biome overhaul, you know, kind of just made sense to bring this POI back. I don't know if I'm going to keep it around that much longer. It's just like a nice little, you know, addition, you know? Kind of nostalgic, you know what I'm saying? And we also have the Sniper Tower landmark, another sniper outpost kind of thing from Chapter 2, Season 1. Nothing too special over here, though. Our next named POI is Chug Central. So as you can see, this POI is specialized in giving you plenty of health. Like, just look at that. That is crazy. But, you know, overall, it's a very Slurp kind of inspired POI. It was, once again, added during Chapter 2, Season 2. As that season was like a slap versus Slurp kind of theme. And, yeah. You know, I like the POI. It's not my favorite. It's probably my lowest ranking from that season, honestly. But, you know, it's solid. It's a solid addition. I like it. That building over there was the original Slurp Hut, kind of added at the same time as like the Slap Hut, and then changed into like a full POI later on. But yeah, this is a Chapter 2 Season 2 POI. I like it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. Pretty neat. Alright. We are now getting into the Chapter 2 Season 3 Snow Biome editions. So this is Righteous Rank. You know, it's an ice rink. You can hear some awesome music in the background there. Just gonna turn that off. And as you can see, it's like a nice little ice rink in here. It's kind of cozy. You got speakers, you know, blasting Butter Barn. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's a really neat little addition. If you go around here, there's another building that anyone who's, you know, experienced the OG Wotts Royale or has, like, seen me tour it in the Chapter 2 Season 2 video, which I think if you're watching this video, you probably have seen it, because it's, like, my most viewed video on, like, this map, or full video on this map. This is the original Righteous Rafts building, slightly updated, you know, fit the modern times, but, you know, it's like an updated Righteous Rafts building. You know, you still got the boxes in here. It's like a register area now. But the rafts still remain unchanged, you know? They're pretty cool. You know, it's a nice little nod. This building was an addition to Righteous Rafts, which was a landmark in Chapter 2 Season 1, but was a named POI in the original map. But yeah, it's a nice little building. I like it. It's very cozy in this POI, I would say. Alright, so our next named POI is Carol Community, another Chapter 2 Season 3 edition. You know, kind of fitting the whole Christmas vibe. There's plenty of buildings around here, plenty of huge buildings. They're honestly all pretty big. But this main building is possibly my favorite. It's a nice little, like, eat out kind of area, you know? Got, like, all this food here to choose from. Got a Christmas tree, obviously, because it's Christmas time. Chests, vending machines, you can get your drinks, you know? And it's overall just kind of a vibe in here, you know? It's very chill, very cool. You know, we go around, there's some more buildings, you know? I'll just go in one of them to show you, because they're all kind of, like, the same kind of vibe. You know, you got, like, your bed area, your sitting area, you know? Your chill little workstation, and then, like, a nice little rug. This is kind of what the vibe is in this POI. There are some shops, too, so I might as well go over there and show you what's in one of these shops. This shop, you know, has, like, a nice little, counter area, like a sink and stuff. You know, register area, some more vending machines, and then no admittance, employees only, because this is the owner's, like, kind of, like, living space, you know? It's kind of chill. It's kind of chill in here. Then we go down here. It's kind of more the same kind of vibe. You know, shop buildings, you know, bigger buildings, you know, the whole shebang, I guess you could say. I don't even know what that means, but, you know, a unique little thing here. The capture point, instead of having a flag, is represented by a Christmas tree. So, you know, that's like a nice little touch on to, like, the whole kind of vibe of the POI, you know? Tells you that this is Christmas time, even though it is almost April. As of recording this, it's going to be April when I'm uploading this. But, yeah, you know, kind of vibey, kind of a little cozy area, you know? Then we continue on to our first landmark of the snow biome, Classic Cabin. So Classic Cabin is just like your classic log cabin, you know? It's a chill area to be in, you know? You got everything going on here, you know? It's what a log cabin would be, you know? Nothing really else going on here, but it's a nice little chill landmark. I like it. So our next named POI is Snowy Station. Now, this is probably the smallest named POI on the map, but it is a very nice POI. So, basically, when this was added, this middle train here would kind of take you around the map, well, kind of the snow biome, but I ended up removing it because it was kind of clanky trying to get all the physics to work, because, like, you would take this, you have to stop there because you can't really turn it on, like, the prop mover, or else I don't know how to do that. If that is possible, then I just didn't know how to, but this train used to move, and you would go down there, and you'd go to another train, go down there, another train, go down there, and we'll kind of go over all those, but yeah, now it's just kind of for show. It's trains for show. And yeah. Inside the station building, this is probably one of my favorite buildings I've added, like, post Season 1. You go in here, you know, it's a nice little chill area, you got some TVs, got, like, a representation of, like, you know, what happened to the original, like, OG, it's like Surrounded Suburbs. A meteor hit Surrounded Suburbs in Chapter 1, Season 2, and it kind of destroyed it. And yeah, that was not too good, but, you know, things change, things evolve, you know. This is a nice little nod. I know it's Tilted Towers, but it's kind of the same vibe, you know. But, yeah. Obviously, as I said, you would, like, go to these different pit stops. This area's named Pit Stop, you know, as you can see in the map. You know, you'd come here, you would take this train over, not anymore since their functionality has been removed, but you know, you kind of get the vibe. It wouldn't take you that far anyways. You could walk this distance and like barely lose the race, I guess. And then yeah, you'd be over here, next destination, and then you take this train over to the landmark Final Stop. And yeah, Final Stop would take you into Wonder Workshop. So Wonder Workshop is obviously kind of be like North Pole Santa's workshop kind of vibe. You got like your hay warehouse in this kind of area. Then this next building probably is the building like the most charm in my opinion. This is like Santa's little home, you know. Got 2 chairs because Mr. and Mrs. Claus, you know, kind of the vibe. Then you would go up here and do a little parkour to get over to the bed, because you know Fortnite Santa is like ripped for some reason. You know, Sergeant Winter ripped, so you know parkour, and it's totally not because I didn't have enough room when I was building this, and I was like, you know, that could be a nice little gimmick. Totally not that at all. Then we'd come over here to the factory itself. You know, the elves have their nice little area with like these small little book stands or whatever, magazine stands, with this tiny little chair so I could put presents up on the conveyor belt, get loaded into the truck to go deliver them to all the good kids on the Wotts Royale Island. I don't know if there's anyone living on this place, but you know, who knows. And then you got like a nice little example of what it should look like on Christmas Day. You know, it's chill, it's kind of cool, you know. We got a nice little clock tower, nothing too special here. And then we have 2 reindeer stables. So, you know, it's pretty chill. They're kind of just like the same vibe, you know. You come in here and, you know, there's stuff for reindeers, you know. Hay, just chests in there in each one of those rooms. You know, it's pretty cool. Then you come in here, this is like the elf sleeping quarters. You know, you got like these small beds, you know. This is actually kind of in the same style as the Sandy Storage sleeping quarters, which Sandy Storage is no longer in the game, but this was kind of what this sleeping quarters was modeled after. Except that one was a lot more military-esque. This one is more Christmassy, you know? So next is probably my favorite landmark in the entire map. This is Derailed. This is a nice little quality of life landmark. It kind of shows a train derailing because there's a mountain, like, in between the tracks. And the story behind this POI was that my original plans for the train from Chapter 2 Season 3 was to have it go from Snowy Station all the way to here. Derailed, right? All the way past Wonder Workshop. But I couldn't figure out how to get the prop mover to turn, so I was like, ooh, that's not really gonna work. And then there wasn't enough space to just make like a hangar like over there. So I was like, you know what? I'll still do the train, but I'll have to, you know, stop it somewhere else. So that's what I did. And this area, instead of just deleting it and replacing it with something else, like some trees or whatever, I turned it into a nice little quality of life, you know, landmark. And, you know, I think it's pretty cool. It's really nice. Alright, our next named POI and final named POI of the snow biome, the Outlands. So, the Outlands is an idea that I had of, what if there was just like a named POI that was just player-built structures and anyone could edit it, you know? You know, I thought that was a cool idea, so I decided to build it. You know, I had like a player-built structure landmark underneath this, which is now part of this POI, which we'll get to in a second. But I was like, what if I expanded that idea? And I made a fully fledged named POI out of it, you know? Metal structures and everything, you know, it's quite durable, you know? I think the overall layouts is pretty unique. You know, keep going up on this one, the main building I would call this one. I keep going up and up and up and up and up. And once you get to the top, which I think is the next floor, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Get to the top and you have like total high ground advantage, you know? You could shoot down on people if you don't fall off. Luckily, there's no fall damage in this map, so you're safe. But, you know, you get total high ground advantage, you know, in here. You know, you go up here, and I can keep going. And there's even, in this building and the main building too, a lower area. I'll show you the main building's lower area real quick. So if we hop down here, we can see a nice little dungeon area, you know, because, you know, it's kind of like a castle kind of-ish. But this is like a nice little dungeon area, you know, you got a 4x4 room, chests in there. And yeah, the Outlands, pretty simple POI, but there is one more section. We just hop down there real quick. As you can see, this is the lower area, and this was a landmark introduced in Chapter 2 Season 1, which I believe was originally named, like, Outcast something. I'm not really quite sure. It's been a while. But I decided to, you know, make it part of the Outlands POI because it's just kind of the same vibe. It's kind of in the same area, just lower down. And, yeah, you know, it's pretty chill. It's pretty cool. Pretty neat. So now we have a few landmarks to go over before we start getting to, like, the new stuff. You know, we've gone over a few new POIs, but you know, the real new stuff. First, that's Holly Home, introduced in Chapter 2 Season 3. It's just a nice little Christmas house, you know. It replaced the Izbushka landmark, which was a Chapter 1 carryover from Chapter 1 Season 8. And now this replaced it in Chapter 2 Season 3. You know, it's a nice little cozy area, you know what I'm saying? So our next landmark is the Mushroom Farm. It's just a nice little small, you know, landmark. Very Slurpee-esque. I guess you can guess which season this was introduced if you said Chapter 2 Season 2. You know, you're right. Obviously, with, like, all the Slurp kind of vibes, you know? Yeah, if you go in here, it's just, like, a nice little chill area with, like, some darts and stuff. You know, got a chest over here. If we just, you know, open this, you know, it's a chest. It'll give you stuff, as you can see there. And, yeah, you know, it's pretty overpowered because if I just shoot this, you know, like, that's instant 100 shield, plus all the Slurp mushrooms, you know. These are generated, too. Like, look at that. That's crazy. But, you know, it's kind of chill vibe, you know. Come here, free instant shield. It's not too great of loot, but, you know, it's something. It's something. It's something. Alright, now we are over to a very storyline heavy POI. So, this is Chaos's Abandoned Abode. Did not mean to shoot. Oops. But, yeah, this is Chaos's Abandoned Abode. This was a landmark. The name wasn't originally Chaos's Abandoned Abode. It was just Chaos's Abode originally, but it was introduced in Chapter 1, Season 1 during the original Wotts Halloween event. And it introduced Chaos, who was the main protagonist through all of Chapter 1. And he kind of, like, is the reason that stuff happened, you know, his battles, his, like, kind of, his whole kind of vibe. But it's abandoned now because in the Chapter 1 Season X event, if you have not seen it, Chaos gets, you know, kind of deleted, I'll say, by the main villain, Centurion, who is actually going to have some storyline relevance fairly soon, so I would be paying attention, you know? But, yeah, you know, it's how it was in Chapter 1. It's just like a nice little cabin area. A few of those cabins around here now, but, you know, you get the vibe, you get the gist, you know? For next up, we have another new named POI. This is actually the first collab POI on the Chapter 2 map. This is Washed Up Wallop. I added at the beginning of this season, and this is another collab POI with Western Wallop, as I previously mentioned. And, yeah, you got the saloon building from the map, got a nice little cube city building, because that's a named POI in the Chapter 2 version of Western Wallop. You got the cube, obviously, right here, you know. We got a Wotts was here sign, because in the original map, the gun shop, which is this building, you know, you could buy a bunch of guns in the original map. In this map, you could buy all the current exotics in the loot pool, except for the dub, but that was added during, like, the last update of the season, and is only in chests. But, you know, you get what I'm saying. This sign, Wotts was here, was next to the original building, because I actually helped develop Western Wallop. You know, isn't that interesting? Isn't that cool? I'm a helper on that map, so, you know, obviously, I had to get a collab in here. You can go check it out, you know what I'm saying? Pretty cool map. Other than that, there's nothing going on that's too crazy with this POI, you know, it's a mixture of a bunch of Western Wallop buildings, you know? Okay, we are starting out a little bit mundane with the desert biome, the new updated desert biome. This is the Starry Oasis. It's kind of like a star-ish shaped, like, oasis area. All these palm trees and stuff. They still haven't fixed these palm trees, by the way. I don't know why they're waving like that, you know? But, you know, the vibe's here, you know? You can swim in this water. You know, it's pretty cool. But this actually does lead us into our first named POI. Well, first a new named POI that isn't a collab. Rickety Refuge. So, this is a pretty neat POI. It's pretty big. It's pretty open. You do got an exotic vending machine right here. And, you know, the whole kind of vibe is like apocalyptic, kind of like village area. You know, it's scrappy kind of area. And we have a vault here, which is a new mechanic to Wotts Royale. So I'll actually show you how to open that real quick. So what you do is, if a POI has a vault, like this POI does, you would come over here and capture the capture point, you know. I'll just skip past this until I get the capture point. Alright, I have captured Rickety Refuge. And as you can see, it dropped a key card. So now if we go over here, you can take the key card to its corresponding vault, which is this one over here. You open it and it opens the vault. You know, pretty simple. Got 2 chests in here, as well as a random mythic. And you could just buy it. It costs around 250-ish gold to buy a mythic in here. But, you know, you get it, and then you get, like, a mythic. You know, it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. We did make some changes to capture points to make that possible. You know, capture points used to drop the mythics, but for balancing purposes, I thought it would be a bit more interesting if vaults are how you get it. Now, I'm not really so sure on vaults, and I'm probably going to make some changes to how mythics are got next season, which is probably in 2 weeks from when this video is dropping. So, yeah, you know. So, yeah, that's what I'm planning. Over here, we have our actual last original POI added for Chapter 2, Season 4. This is Carved Crumbles. This is a kind of like sandstone ruins kind of area. You know, these tall towers, like unconstructed bits, you know. They're kind of empty buildings, but they're ruins, you know. What would you expect? It's kind of been turned into a tourist attraction. That's why there's like wood pallets everywhere surrounding these buildings. And yeah, this POI does not have a vault. It just didn't need one. Didn't really kind of fit the vibe, you know. Why would there be a vault here? That just doesn't make sense. But yeah, you know, you kind of get the vibe. It's a fairly big POI. It's fairly long. It was a last-minute addition, honestly. I was like, what can I use to fill up this spot? And I was like, you know, this is pretty cool. So I decided to add this. Alright, our next POI is not new. This is actually a Chapter 2 Season 1 POI. But I decided to keep it when I revamped the desert because I just like this POI a lot. This is Boundary Borderlands. So, this POI has a lot of history to it. It does have a vault now, which will show what's inside the vault. You probably already know, but we'll just do it anyways. But Boundary Borderlands was originally a POI on my very first attempt at making a Battle Royale map that I never really actually released, known as Fortnite Royale, because that was my name back then, on Fortnite at least. And, you know, it was a Season 1 POI in that map, and it was my favorite, honestly. I really liked it. And we do have the keycard now, so I'll show you. But I'll continue. Basically, a really OG POI. It has a lot of history, and I decided to bring it from that map to this map. And, you know, as you can see, open here, you know, you got some cool loot, chests and stuff. And then you can buy another mythic. I do not have enough gold to buy another mythic. But just to let you know, these are randomized mythics. They aren't set in stone, so this flapjack rifle could have been like a glider gun or spire boots, for example, because those are in the loot pool. But yeah, Boundary Borderlands is a classic POI, you know? Can't really go wrong with it. We do have another landmark over here before we get to our next named POI. This is Vault Break. It's just a broken into vault. There's no loot in here, you know? Except for 2 chests that the person who broke into this forgot to search, I guess. But, you know, it's more loot for you. But now we are into our next named POI. This is Frantic Films. So, this is like a film set kind of area, you know? It's kind of like the old kind of filming areas, you know, like Moisty Mire when it had that all over there. And like the weird like film set depot by like Haunted Hills and Junction back in the day. It's kind of the vibe I was getting from here. This is what I was kind of going for. You know, got the green screens everywhere. You got like the director's seats everywhere, you know. Pretty cool. I like this POI. Granted, it's not really too apocalyptic, but you know, it's chill. It's a nice little desert kind of vibe. You know, nothing too crazy, but I do like it. I like this POI. If we go over here, we have another new landmark. This is Tourist Trap. And the idea is obvious, you know, it's a tourist trap. What else would you expect? Like, it's just like a nice little landmark that tourists come to, and it, you know, traps them, I guess, you know? You know what a tourist trap is. I shouldn't have to explain this to you. Alright, our next named POI is Fallout Farm. So Fallout Farm, obviously a farm POI. I believe this is actually the first like actual like farm named POI. We obviously have the Mushroom Farm, but that was a landmark. This is like the first farm named POI I think I've ever had on this map. It's not the first farm I've ever made. I have made farms for other maps before, but they never released. Fortnite Royale, as I mentioned earlier. But, you know, this is a neat little farm area, you know. It's probably, honestly, my least favorite POI that I added this season. But it's still cool. I like it. It's neat. It's like a nice little first in, like, the Wotts Royale kind of, like, history, you know. These, like, pens all have, like, dead llamas in them, which is interesting, I guess you could say. But, yeah. Obviously, we have the main building, which is the barn house. You know, it's very diverse. You know, you got all like the different floors and stuff. You like go up here, you know, and yeah, that's basically all there is to this POI though. All right, we have one more landmark before we get to our last named POI, and probably honestly my favorite I've added during this season. This is Trashy Campers. So, if you are familiar at all with Wotts Royale Chapter 1, you might be familiar with this building. And this is the building from the Trashy Travels named POI from Chapter 1, during Chapter 1 Season 7. This building was on Trashy Travels, which replaced Wild Westerns during that season. But yeah, you know, everything in here is the same. It's copied directly from that map. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Nice little reference POI. I like it. It was kind of last minute because this was kind of empty and I didn't know what to put here. But you know, to like make up for the name campers, you know, you got a campsite. You know, nothing too crazy. We did add some dumpsters, you know, for more loot. But other than that, it's unchanged. The building, at least. Like, it's not unchanged. It's pretty changed, but the building's the same. You get what I'm saying. And now onto our last named POI, possibly my favorite. This is Container Corner. So the name kind of makes it obvious. It's a bunch of containers, you know. It's kind of Borderlands-esque. It's kind of like the vibe I was going for here. And like the whole idea behind this POI was, what if there was like a named POI where none of the buildings were like made out of like pieces? They were all made out of props. So it was like Borderlands, like that's like the whole vibe, because you know they're all like kind of like houses made out of containers. So I was like, yeah, that makes sense, and it's a lot easier to condense. So this place has a lot of chests in it, and it's very condensed to like a very small area. You know, got different layers. You know, some buildings are underneath like the foundations of the others. It's pretty cool. It's pretty unique. This is also the only, like, the third POI to have a vault in it, so we'll show you what's kind of in there, what you can expect. You can probably expect something, but you know what I'm saying. We have captured Container Corner, and then we can just take this, and then we go over to the vault, and we open it, and we'll see what's inside. You could probably already guess what's inside. But yeah, another mythic. This happens to be another glider gun. And some more chests, you know? It's what you would expect from a place like this, you know?
Alright. I say,